Hey guys, welcome back. Listen, singles, this is a single storyline, and I have been promising that we would start doing one a week where we break it into each zodiac. I fully intended to do that tonight, Wednesday night. And unfortunately, just like last week, I'm going to have to push that over to Friday. This could be a collective singles read instead of zodiac specific. And that is simply because I got interrupted in doing the zodiacs a little while ago that I had slated to do tonight because I had kind of a little family emergency. And although things are well, it means the time I would have been doing the other zodiac reads I didn't get done. So I need to still get to those later on tonight. So that means this has to be kept a little bit shorter. So please forgive me for altering things. I guess I just kind of roll with the flow sometimes. But Friday, we will be able to get to all the zodiacs. But I've been trying to make sure that it would be out on Wednesday like that. I do singles reads on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And one of those days out of the week, we do each zodiac. But should have been today. It's going to be Friday. Sorry for the build-up, just to let you down. All right, we have got the message for our singles read right now is the 12th house. It's an area of life that is overwhelming. One where if we yield to a greater cause or power, it might behoove our character. So the fact that we have something overwhelming, that can sound ominous, but the fact that it's asking a character to kind of surrender. Hi, Pranoya. How are you, honey? I feel like sometimes it's a good practice to go ahead and be able to surrender, especially to, well, heck, come on, I had to surrender to the way tonight went also, didn't I? Sometimes we just roll with it. And it's interesting, though, that when things get to be pressurized for our character, it sounds like yielding is the best, most expedient way to get through the problem. Okay, so we have an emperor in the reverse. This could represent that our character had a flare of like wanting to manage something, take a hold of it. You know, an emperor in the reverse can actually be a bit of a dictator, though. It can be someone who's trying to take charge of stuff, hold on to it really tightly when it's something they don't actually have control of at all. And I think maybe our character had to face that, like, dang, I gotta let this go. I can't control it. Queen of Swords in the reverse. This could have been, now that we have two characters here, this actually could be that our lead character observed two other individuals being in conflict, and they were like, whoa, there is nothing I can do to fix the problem that exists between this Queen of Swords and the Emperor in the reverse. Maybe our lead character was the one involved in this, and they do represent one of these two characters. But right now, I'm a little bit inclined to say it looks like they were an outside party observing this, and they were just like, this is super stressful, but it isn't my thing. This could be, argument or complication between family members, parental figures. Ace of Wands. Yeah, I would say flares of temper popped up in this. So let me ask this. What role did our lead character play? We see that they surrendered. Oh, Empress. Okay, so they played a really important role of giving like a mediating energy to all of this. This could be a single character that is either, this could be like friends, a married couple or something, and our single character observed them having some kind of big upheaval, and our single character was able to play the role of like nurturing the connection or the situation as best as possible, like even mediating to the point of saying, hey, you guys, you both have a point, both of you have a valid point. And maybe both of you also need some time to think about what the other one is upset over. I feel like they very gracefully, our lead character very gracefully came in and just almost like, see how big and flouncy her skirt is almost like our lead character came in and produced like a parting of the ways, pushed these two apart with her big, beautiful, gigantic skirt and gave them a little bit of space so they weren't up in each other's faces, in some ill temper. That's what it feels like. So that isn't comfortable. And that's not really them surrendering, though, is it? The Empress actually takes charge of something, but doesn't take charge to the point where they're like, you sit there and you sit there. Oh, 10 of Swords. No, what it was is that our lead character didn't like this situation, but they recognized I can help in the moment, but maybe this lead character says, I really care about these friends. I would love them to be able to work through their problems, but I also know I can't hope that they can work it out because it's up to them whether or not they can. I can't keep them together. I haven't got that ability. If they're not going to make it because they still are going to part ways, that's fine. But I can calm down maybe the argument right now. But ultimately, I can't have my heart set on whatever the outcome is. Why is our lead character so invested in this situation that seems to be external to themselves? Five of Pentacles. There's some kind of like maybe these characters have been really supportive of our lead character during times of struggle and sorrow. And so of course it's like, if my friends are going through problems or family members are going through problems, I'm going to remember that they helped me during my time of need. So of course I want to be there for them. In particular, all of this looks like romantic struggles. It does. It looks like our lead character says, hey, they were there for me when I was really sad, when I was really feeling out in the cold, when I had a breakup. And now, oh God, I'm friends with both of them. I don't want to see them break up. Like, this feels very like, of course we want the best for the people that we care about, and we want them to be successful together. But there is the acknowledgement with the Four of Wands sideways. If two people would be better off not in the union, then it's almost like our lead character has to accept that as well. They're not fully accepting it, though. They're kind of still looking at it like, but what if this could be salvaged? It's interesting to see that on one hand, they know, hey, life goes on. If these two don't make it, if these two are not going to stay together, despite the fact that I'm pulling for them, I do know that life will go on and they'll be happy with some other relationship. But man, it would be nice if they could patch things up. It's interesting how this is so stressful, though, to our lead character when it's not even their situation. It's more like an external situation to them that they kind of got roped into or caught up in the middle of. It's a pretty nice, pretty mature way how they're handling it, though. Trying to be a good mediator, but also saying, I can't have an investment in what the outcome is because it's got to be whatever is best for the two of them. So I kind of think it shows the maturity of our lead character, helpful, supportive, but also knowing that, hey, they got to do what's in their best interest. Six of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Two of Swords. This is still going to probably play out somehow in our character's life a little bit more, because we see an important conversation about some truth, a conversation that I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but I'm wondering if our lead character has been single and they've been on the outskirts of some other connection, it could even be that as two partners separate and our lead character who is single sits down and has a conversation with one of them, it could be revealed that possibly that emperor was interested in our lead character. That's a strange side note, but that just pops up here because there's some kind of truth here. Or I don't think this is like unpleasant gossip, but it's more like there's a reason why it was time to part ways. And it could very well be something along those lines, because it kind of leaves our character sitting there pondering a little bit. It's the only reason I suggest this could be a bit of a shocker, whatever the truth is in this conversation, but it's not said with any animosity or anything. So for this storyline, for this character, it just kind of looks like, a complicated situation has some big reveals in it, and it explains further why a situation is parting ways, but it does leave our character kind of like, kind of scratching their head a little bit. It could also just be that they're a little bit confused. Natalie D, thank you, Angel. Thank you so much. Thank you. That is so kind. I appreciate you so much, sweetie. You're always so generous. We have the Lover's card. I mean, this does kind of feel as if there's some message about I feel like our lead character is questioning, wait a second, somebody cares about me? One of them is interested in me? That, or it's through an interesting chain of events that our character ends up with a romantic partner. I don't know if it's one of those two that is separating, but here's the thing. Let me go back and say, remember when our lead character said, I wish that they'd stay together, but if they don't, Jean Vale, thank you, Angel. You are so kind. Thank you. You, sweetie. That's so generous. Thank you for the donation. Um, if if two people aren't meant to be together, then they'll move on and they'll find other connections that will be more satisfying. And that's just life in the adult world, right? We don't always stay together. We can start out great and strong, and then over time things change. We grow out of love, we grow into different people. We're not working together anymore smoothly, so we part ways. And it's not really the end of the world. That's just life, right? And we got to roll with it sometimes. But it could also be, if these two are parting ways, our lead character could end up dating one of the two of them. And just like it's not the end of the world that maybe they are supposed to part ways, I mean, they were not happy together, as we could see. Queen of Swords in the reverse, Emperor in the reverse, they were not clicking. It almost looks like our lead character ends up with one of the two of them. Possibly whoever's the bluebird. Somebody who maybe even comes and travels to come see them. The only reason I'm going to suggest it's the Queen of Swords is because she's all in blue versus a lot of red on the Emperor card. And this could even be that there's a conversation prior to this saying, listen, get together with them with my blessings. You know what? We weren't good together. We're better off as friends than lovers. I know you thought we were a great couple, but really we haven't been working out. But you know who would be a great couple? Frankly, you and so. So just know, go with my blessings. This feels like a very mature kind of, there's always that awkwardness, the bro code or the girl code of like, if somebody dated someone, then and you were all friends, then if they break up, you can't go get with that person, which is a little bit, it's both understandable, but it's also not. Why would two people that maybe are meant to be together be forever forbidden from it simply because once upon a time they dated somebody else? I mean, that kind of seems ridiculous. Why would anyone be denied, especially when if a romance is done, it's terminated. I understand wanting some time to elapse, but at the same time, should they forever be prohibited from finding love with someone just because, unfortunately, they dated the other person's friend once upon a time? Hopefully not. At least that's just my perspective, because I don't understand why that there has to be a total taboo if they weren't suited to each other, but another duo is suited to one another. And I think that's kind of what our lead character is sitting here scratching their head over. Like, wait a minute. This is a surprising conversation to be having, that basically the Queen of Swords and the Emperor is sitting me down to tell me, hey, listen, we're not going to make it as a couple, but you guys would be great together, and just know you have my blessing. It kind of feels like that story. This is very unusual. I don't usually have stories like this at all. Nobody's stealing anybody's partner in this. Nobody is trying to bamboozle somebody else, and no one is being underhanded. That Six of Pentacles says it straightforward. This is like, I'm still going to be friends with you even if you end up with them. I'm not with them anymore. We're moving on. We're apart. If you want to get with them, just know that's fine, because I think they'd be great with you. And it kind of feels like our lead character is getting that blessing. I don't know if they ever contemplated this before, and now they are starting to think of it like that way. Wait a minute. You mean I might be a match for one of the two of them? I think that our lead character was always extremely honorable and would not have contemplated it that way. But I said maybe it's the Queen of Swords that they match with, but honestly, if we go back, remember we had an Empress here and we have an Emperor. We actually do have a matched pair. And over here we had a mismatched couple. Even though, ironically, our lead character, Empress, was cheering for them, pulling for them, wanting them to work stuff out, and even trying to help them work things out. And ironically, it's like, maybe this is the better duo. So it definitely is a storyline where there's some kind of shocking, I feel like square dancing partners here. You do-si-do, swap your partners and around you go. but it doesn't have an unsavory vibe to it. It just has more like a realistic vibe of not all characters are great together, and then there's someone else that would be better. And if all characters are mature enough to accept that reality, this doesn't have to be angsty and doesn't have to be painful and doesn't have to be a big dirty, like, ooh, you're stealing my person, you double crosser. No, with the Queen of Cups, I gotta say, this feels like there's a real gentle love story here, and possibly two people that are really beautifully matched, really meant to be together. And I just say that because our Queen of Cups is holding her seahorse. Seahorses do mate for life. I gotta say, I'm wondering if our lead character had even like buried emotions for them, never admitted that they might have been in love with this person. It does look like these two were a match all along, but there was a mismatch going on at the beginning of our story. And I think that mismatch is being corrected. It's interesting how, let's go back to the beginning, that 12th house card that says this area of life that is overwhelming, but yield to the greater cause or power. In this case, the greater cause or power is that our lead character was actually better matched to someone, to the Emperor, than the Queen of Swords was. I am just so relieved to see a story that can be this delicate and even difficult and convoluted, but have it come out so smooth. I don't think I get many stories like that, and especially with such a touchy scenario for these characters, but they're so mature about it. They're not trying to deny happiness. It's like they always all wanted the best for each other, even if they're not the ones who can be the best for one another. It just feels very mature and very different vibe on this one. I really appreciate how mature these characters were. All right, you guys, I'll leave this one here, and then I promise you on Friday we will be able to get to all of the zodiacs. And now the baby calls. Bye, guys. Thanks for being here. Aries.